I think I'm just going to go right with it and say this is a CrunchCast number 49. Holy crap. Can you believe we've got these far fellers? We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. Holy crap. All that stuff. Today we got our good old pals here, John Henderson, Lee Americoon. Is that how you say it?
Hello.
I don't ever said it right.
Yeah. Good.
And Tracy Hunt. Or do you go by Travis? What do you like now?
Tracy.
Okay, because I remember for a while there you just hated getting all those calls.
Yep, calls, Victoria's Secret catalogs.
Yeah. I'm calling for Mrs. Tracy Hunt. This is him. Yeah, that's annoying as shit.
I still hate it, but I gave up.
Yeah. Well, I was like that when I was a little kid. I worked for my dad's store, and I would have to answer the phones. And they'd say, oh, ma'am, because I was a kid.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had a little kid's voice, and they'd think it was a lady. Ah. But what I would do is say, okay, hold on, ma'am, I'll get them, and like refer to them as a lady as well. Anyway, hey, we're back. Hey, aren't you guys all in Austin right now?
He is.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, that's crazy. It's like an Austin crew.
Yeah. And yet people still think that Austin's like the smoking crater of studios that keep closing.
Just wait.
Yeah.
It's almost like it is, right?
It falls apart. You're here too, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm out here in Denver. Woo!
Yeah. Chris isn't.
So, summertime's hitting. You guys enjoying it? Getting outside?
It's not really summer here. It's this thing to where it goes back and forth between different types of weather on a daily basis.
I would say it's not summer until it's 110.
Yeah, in Texas, right?
So it was actually kind of cool today.
Yeah, it was nice today. I actually got to get out of the house today.
Nice. Well, one of the things about summer is, hey, E3's coming up. Anybody going?
No.
I
don't like people.
Oh, hey, Jesse Sosa just joined up.
Yeah.
You can't join in the middle.
He's also in Austin. Craziness.
Man, we should have an Austin party.
What's the subject? Are we recording?
Yeah, we just started.
Oh,
And
what are we talking about?
Yeah, we'll work
Talking
into the
about
topic.
Austin.
No, I was just saying, are you going to E3, Jesse? Because I know you got your company now.
No, I'm not actually.
Are you doing any sort of representation there, or not even worried about it?
At E3, no, not this year.
Fair enough.
I think I'm going to Gamers, we could call it. I might be going to Gamers Day.
What's that all about?
It's for the It's a Warhammer convention. I
Oh
think.
yeah, okay. I knew I heard of that for some reason.
Yeah. I might be going to demonstrate the Space Hulk game.
That's cool, man. Yeah, because you've been working on that,
Isn't
right?
it just Game Day?
Yeah.
Games Day?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Games Day.
There's a convention coming through Austin that's all about board gaming and stuff, and I can't remember what it's called right now.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Tony's been talking crazy about that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not-
coming
it's,
up.
It's not the BronyCon, is it?
No.
Something tells me BronyCon would have a lot of out-of-shape people there. I'm just guessing.
Austin Board Game Bash, August.
Oh,
Nice.
Jeff Tony's probably going crazy for that.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, John, don't you have one coming up in October as well?
We sure do. Captivate. That is the conference that we're putting on to replace. It will fill the hole left by GDC Online.
Nice.
And we're trying to make it more than just game development, because it turns out you can apply a lot of the same skills and principles to film development and music and other kinds of entertainment and art.
Fantastic. I gotta get out some more and do some of these shows, see what's going on. Now that I got all this free time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Have you talked about what you're doing now?
Me? Not
Yes.
really. If you want me to talk about what I'm doing now, it's I'm doing a lot of bicycling, I'm doing a lot of exercising, I'm cooking a lot of food, and I've been catching up on some much-needed Minecraft.
Ooh.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
potatoes are
priorities.
pretty tasty today on the.
Oh yeah, I
Facebook.
cooked some potatoes. Honestly, as much as I've been cooking lately, and I've been like really getting into it and watching just tons of cooking shows, I'm seriously thinking about doing a YouTube cooking show.
Ooh.
Oh.
But like a really simple one, like a 2-minute video, or something like the idea that I've got behind it right now is a super simple cooking, like things that you can cook that are like fresh ingredients, good for you, and really easy to do. So there's no excuses. It's not going to be like, oh, how to fucking make pizza dough and cook your own pizza. None of that shit. You know.
I know all that except for the good for you stuff. Everything I
Right.
think is Terrible.
What about like a starving artist guide to food?
Yeah, I've actually got a little article on that. I've had trouble.
Starving and crunching. Yeah, the CrunchCast guide to food.
Right.
Artists that have no money and no time.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I've been wanting to do a CrunchCast on how to stay healthy during crunch and just during game development too. That interests me since I'm gonna start getting back into hardcore game development here pretty soon. I got to maintain myself.
Oh, absolutely, man. And it's one of the things. Again, when I was laid off about a month ago, and one of the first things I had to learn really quick was just keeping your sanity, and that's when I got really into getting better at cooking, but not just getting better at cooking, but frugal cooking, because I got to save money as well. And gosh, I've just been learning so much, so I definitely want to apply that, and we'll do a talk on that maybe next time.
Yeah, actually, anyone that's listening, if you have any ideas or anything when it comes to staying healthy during game development, please message us either on Facebook or through
Twitter, YouTube, it's all there.
Twitter, whatever.
Yeah, the Polycount thread.
Yeah, join us on a CrunchCast. If you don't want to talk, then just submit your ideas on how you can stay healthy and stuff during game development. That's a very important topic for us to cover.
Oh,
Especially since a lot of these studios have that wonderful snack room.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. Those are so bad for you.
Oh, yeah. Like I used to grab peanut M&Ms on my way to the meeting every time.
Well, at least there were peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. That's
Well,
correct.
they were covered in milk chocolate. too.
Yeah, not even milk chocolate, fake chocolate, and a candy coating. But still, you're getting peanuts. That's better than regular M&Ms. I'll give it that.
Well, and then there was a Pop-Tart. And
Oh. Yeah, there's been a few studios that, again, they all have, a lot of them had great break areas where they'll do, I know Mythic had like a soda machine where every soda was a quarter, that kind of stuff. It's like, oh,
That's how ours is.
so cheap.
Oh, man.
And
At TRI, they were free.
yeah, there was a few studios that I had interviewed at times and visited that they had that, where it was like a fully stocked snack kitchen and everything was free and just there. Like, oh my god, that's how it was at Crytek when we went out there in Frankfurt. It's like, look at all these Pepsis. It's cool.
Yeah. KI had the free one, but apparently people would come in and just carry out cases.
Yeah, that's what happened with Microsoft. That's the classic reason of why you don't want to give away for free. Subsidized makes more sense.
Yeah, you got to be smart about that. I mean, even back at Mythic, if you stayed there late, you'd hear like, for about 30 minutes, and it was the cleaning crew that came in at night buying every soda out of the soda machine.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh.
Yep.
yeah, BioWare had the wonderful thing called the free ice cream, which I went kind of crazy on. We used to have meetings next to the ice cream machine.
Oh yeah. And if you're a producer, your only job is order pizza for everyone that's crunching. It's always fucking pizza. It's like, oh, what's the worst food you could eat while you're sitting and doing nothing? Let's mix fat and carbs.
So, since we're on this subject, one of the ideas, I don't know if I've talked about it on a CrunchCast, but one of the ideas that I had that would save a lot of money, especially for a small indie like myself, indie studio, is instead of buying pizza every night or whatever, just getting like a weekly grocery budget and kind of do it as a group activity. Go on Monday morning or something and stock up your fridge with whatever people actually do want to eat and prepare, and kind of do that. Maybe even cook as a team if you're good friends and stuff.
Yeah, that's actually a really good team building exercise, and it's healthy mentally and physically for the team.
If I could add to that, Jesse, if it was something where you planned in advance, just make lots of dinners all at once. There's the plan a dinner. I don't know what they're all called, but you can basically, Mike, if you start with 6 chicken breasts, you can prepare them all the same way, maybe just marinate them in a bag, and then just have them ready to cook and par cook them and just have them ready to go throughout the week.
Oh yeah, if you've got a George Foreman, you could throw that on there and it's a few minutes, it's done.
I was going to actually see if some of the guys here wanted to throw in like a little bit of money, and then since I live right next to work, at lunch, buy up food for 3 or 4 of us and just come over and cook the food during the hour lunch, eat it up. and then go back to work.
Again, that's another good idea. Again, you're getting people to actually walk, cook, and socialize. Again,
Yep.
a lot of good health.
Somebody put the old the UTV. My friend, he put raw fish into the George Foreman.
Oh no!
Oh man.
Fish on the Foreman doesn't work. I mean, you gotta wrap it in aluminum foil,
Oh,
and then you're
it was
set.
The smell of fish went through the office.
That's bad news. Oh god, I remember guys like making a garlic toast. Oh, I love garlic toast, but if you just cook garlic in a room full of people, they're gonna get so mad.
It's like the microwave popcorn that always just gets left in until it burns and
Oh yeah.
eats up the entire.
I am certain that I've been at studios that had a sign up, no popcorn.
Mythic had one.
Yeah, they
Mythic had
did.
one.
Because if you cook popcorn, it smells good, but it smells so much. It takes over the whole area, and it's just so annoying to everybody there. Or like cracking a can of tuna.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes even eggs can have that kind of farty smell.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All
we'll
right.
do some. We'll do that, Jesse. We'll do like a full thing about that. I've been doing some writing as well since I started up the blog thing to kind of keep me going. I've got some unpublished articles.
I posted a YouTube link up there of a talk that we had someone did that was actually a registered dietitian who is also married to the guy who runs community for Twisted Pixel here in Austin. And I haven't watched the video in a while, but she has some good suggestions in there. I remember
Nice.
there's things like don't snack excessively, don't drink all your calories, avoid going more than 5 hours without eating. It's better to have, it'd be better to have stuff spread out over the day, have good stuff to snack on rather than huge dinners that you don't get to process.
Mm.
Oh, one thing that happens there is that your brain shuts down. If you're hungry, let me put it like this: if you got up, went to work, didn't have breakfast, you are incapable of making an intelligent decision because your brain doesn't have food. And that's why I think it's almost which country does. I know there's one of the Asian countries. It's like a major tradition there that business meetings are done after dinner. Like you go to a dinner and then you have the meeting, like even possibly at the same table. But that's such a. Go ahead.
I know in Korea they don't talk business until beer touches the lips.
Right. Like if you fucking don't have nutrients in your body, your brain stops working. This is how the fucking body works.
Also, there's something inbred in all of us since the caveman era is about sitting around the campfire eating and talking.
Oh, so paleo.
Yeah, well but it's really more like if you're hungry, then all your brain can think about your 10,000 100,000-year-old brain they call it. Our caveman brain just kicks in and you're in starvation mode. So all you're really thinking about is your brain goes to very primeval gut reaction type thoughts, and that's really how it works. So you can't really make a proper decision, and yeah, gotta eat.
Speaking of which,
Speaking of which, eating.
Yeah, Tracy's
The
just.
rest of us, Tracy.
What do you got there? Was that Oreo cookies?
I know it's Tostitos chips and salsa.
Oh, you wild man! You're gonna be thinking so good.
Yeah. But someone told me that doing salsa will keep you in shape. So
Salsa. Yeah, you know I like a good salsa. Go ahead.
I used to have just a little bag of almonds that I would just, pull like 2 or 3 from to snack on. Of course, that was back before I was extremely, extremely poor.
Well, just throwing it out there right here on my desk is a little package of whole dry roasted but unsalted almonds.
Yes.
I just always keep one of these, and they are expensive, but boy, they're good.
Be. Yeah, they are. I would buy the raw stuff, the raw local almonds, and unsalted, all that stuff.
Unsalted.
But they could get pretty expensive. I mean, it was essentially like a dollar, or no, it's a little bit more than $1 a pound or something like that.
They're The only reason
Oh,
I go
no.
dry roasted versus raw is just I like the crunchiness. Because when you
I
go
think it
raw,
was-
they're a bit more malleable and soft.
Yeah.
I just like the crunchy.
I think they were 60. I think it was $6 a pound is what they were. That sounds about right. And when you add it all up together, it does get a bit pricey. Eating healthy is never. It's not cheap. It's not as expensive, I think, as most people make it out to be, but it's
Yes.
definitely not cheap.
It's much cheaper than people think, as long as you're doing it right. There's an article not really an art. It's a full examination of price per nutrition. Big study someone did. It's one of those that's all like, oh, here's the theory, the hypothesis, and they have all these charts and graphs. It's great. I'll try to remember to link it. Let me write that down. Link.
The problem,
Article.
the problem that I have with anything is I'm such a foodie, and so I get bored. I get into a routine, and I'll eat like the same thing for like 2 weeks. Well, not the same thing, but I
No, I know what you mean.
yeah,
I'll do the same thing.
it just sucks. Like I'll just be like, fuck this, I want some tacos or something like that, and then once I let those tacos touch the lips, it's like, oh, why'd I ever leave you, tacos?
Right.
I've been losing a good bit of weight, and I'm eating pretty much the same stuff. I'm just eating less of it. So if I go to somewhere and get a burger combo, I get the small, and I get the diet drink instead of
Instead of that giant Fuddruckers burger.
Yeah, instead of the giant Fuddrucker burger.
Those are good.
I just try and drink water, like
if I
whenever
go
I
to
go
Subway,
anywhere.
I get the 6-inch sub with no chips, and instead of getting the giant and crazy sub. And I've been pretty constantly losing. So
Yeah, I did the same thing a little while back. I'm not a. Well, I know exactly what I did. I just stopped eating after a certain time of day. I'd say, okay, it's blank p.m.
Yeah.
and I just wouldn't eat anything. Yeah, you get hungry, but you know what? Fuck it. You're hungry because you're a fat pig. Now go to sleep. But what I noticed from that was by not having a bunch of food in your stomach at night, your stomach shrinks a little. You can increase and shrink the size of your stomach a little bit. Like there's little techniques you can do, like drinking say like a pint of warm water can expand the stomach, just because it's like nice heat in there. The water kind of gets you going. So if you do that, and then after a little bit, once the water runs through you, you can eat more than if you didn't drink that water. So that's like a stomach stretching exercise, but I'm going the opposite, where I would go to sleep with an empty stomach. So therefore my stomach was getting smaller, and I just immediately noticed within a few weeks I just couldn't eat what I was eating anymore. I would regularly, twice a week, I'd probably go get sushi, and I always had a standard 18 pieces. But then all of a sudden I was like, I get like 12 or so in, and be like, I'm getting full. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do something like that too, where it's basically taming my appetite, or I forget I don't know what a good word for it is, but it's basically the same thing. Like I just force myself to just eat a very specific amount and no more, and I just try and spread it out across the day. So it could be as simple as just having like some multivitamins, obviously, because I'll be eating less, and I probably won't be eating everything that I should. But some simple like little chicken broth soups, and then some little things like almonds or something to snack on. And I do that to tame my hunger, and I do that for like 2 weeks. And then after that, I find that I'm not hungry a lot. And like you said, maybe it's stomach shrinking or anything, and I can't ingest as much anymore. And so from there, I kind of, that's where I start, I change the way I eat, and I start working out and do that for a bit, obviously, and then that falls through or whatever. But I do find that tailoring your appetite does help some. If you force yourself not to eat after a certain time, and you force yourself to eat a certain amount.
yeah, and just as my Ilphronic crew used to call it, just don't fat boy out. That's what they would do. They go, we're gonna go fat boy it out, and they go to some restaurant and just put down so much food. I'm like, guys, that's the problem. You just can't fat boy out. Just take it easy on the meal. And one of the old stupid things about the body, just like the starvation and the way the brain works, is even Louis C.K. has a bit about it. It takes the stomach 20 minutes to tell the brain it's full.
Yes.
What an asshole your stomach is.
Yeah,
And I've learned there's been plenty of times I'll eat a meal and I'll still be hungry and I'll be like, oh, I'll grab like a banana or a piece of fruit or something. Like, nah, just wait. And then I wait a few minutes and I'm not hungry anymore.
That's where eating slow comes into play.
Yes, I'm one of the slowest eaters ever.
The other thing too is like one of the things I did was, when I would go like to an all you can eat buffet or whatever, I'd force myself to only eat one plate and that's it.
That's fair. And also the choice of calories makes a big difference. Like when it comes to vegetables and stuff, you can eat a crap load, like a full stomach worth of just vegetable stuff, and it's not as bad as eating like a half a stomach worth of just like a pizza or something. Like something bad for you.
Yeah. I remember I started eating kale last fall. Oh my god, I had so much energy. I didn't know what to do with it. So I went and I volunteered at the local haunted house, and I was just building I was like lifting pallets and carrying them around. This is the guy with a bad back, and I was like painting walls and just for like 10 hours a day, and I had so much energy just
kale is fucking
switching
pro.
to kale.
Yeah, kale is amazing because you can throw like just a giant wad of kale into a blender with like one piece of fruit. And boom,
Yeah.
you
The
got
fruit is to make it taste good because kale is awful.
Yeah.
Kale's bitter.
But one little bit of fruit will like will flavor an entire thing of kale.
And let me just make the suggestion of strawberries.
Yes.
Holy shit. Strawberry.
Just kale chips. Making kale chips is good too.
And kale's cheap, man. It's really
Yeah.
cheap.
You
No one
can't
wants it 'cause it's
buy
garnish.
a little bit of kale.
No.
When I go to the grocery store, their bundles of kale are so big they don't fit in those little vegetable bags they get at the produce section. It is ridiculous.
Chinese broccoli is also really good and really really delicious too.
You said broccoli, right?
Chinese broccoli.
Oh, Chinese.
It doesn't look anything like regular broccoli. It looks more like a green. It looks more like kale or something like that.
Right.
But it's really good with. I used to eat it with steamed like over rice, like mixed in with rice. And it was really good.
You used to deep fry Snickers.
Hey.
That stuff's good too.
When I lived with Tracy, he was into cooking. He loved cooking and stuff. But one day he got a Fry Daddy, one of the big deep
I
fryers.
still got the same one in there.
And man, Tracy used to make his own chips, and they were so good. But you would just fucking fry anything, and
That's awesome.
those deep fried Snickers were good, but awful.
Oh yeah, I bet.
You've got to fry all the calories out.
Tracy still got that? I could go
Yes.
for some fried. I could go for some fried Snickers.
Yeah, fried Snickers.
Good stuff.
You batter them in like a funnel cake batter, and freeze them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
You gotta poke holes though, so you can get the batter all up in there. Then you'll get some of that batter that doesn't fry, so it's still gooey. That sounds delicious.
Mm.
They were always good. I mean, they were nicely outside breaded. The inside was gooey, but
We just murdered this health food conversation.
Yeah,
Everybody's like, fuck hell.
oh, hey, we gotta balance that shit out. We go from kale right to deep fried Snickers.
Well, we were talking about how kale is so awful to eat. It's very good for you. It's so bitter, but Snickers, on the other hand, Snickers
you
are
put
great.
some kale in a
like
blender with
heaven.
some fried Snickers, and you
Oh.
got
You have a total energy bar.
And I'm just throwing it out there. Just I don't know if Snickers is a worldwide thing, because it seems like candies and stuff are different everywhere. Snickers is a chocolate bar with what is it? Nougat, peanuts, and caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
If they don't know
Outside
what
of the-
Snickers is, they don't know what a nougat is.
Yeah, outside of the peanuts, I think everything in there is fake.
oh for sure.
No, they know what nougat is. Don't they have like the Arrow bar or something like that over there? Zero or something.
Arrow
And it's just like
too.
nothing but nougat. Nougat's gross, man.
Like Three Musketeers is just nougat covered in chocolate.
No, I like.
What a weird word nougat is.
Isn't that Ted Nougat?
Ted Nougat.
Oh yeah, good times, good times.
Yeah, one thing that I know John said it earlier in his little article there. There's a video he linked about drinking calories. Yeah, that'll get people, man. You think juice is good for you, but it turns out it's just loaded with sugar.
Sugar, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things. Yeah, man. Orange juice. I love orange juice so much, but when you're on a low sugar diet or anything like that, and you have to pay attention to that, and you look at it, oh man, juice is just so chock full of.
There was a weird
sugar.
time in my life where I got really into pineapple orange juice. I've always loved it, but I think it was a few years ago here because it was out here in Colorado, and I just was drinking pineapple orange juice a lot. Like that was my go-to drink, and I got a gut.
Yeah, you
like
think
a
it's
fat.
good for you.
I got a fat gut from drinking fucking pineapple orange juice, and I had to stop, and it cleared it right up.
Yeah, I noticed like a while back whenever I was buying me a big combo burger meal that there was more calories in the soda than there was in the burger and the fries together.
Absolutely.
So I switched, and I know it's not a perfect solution, but I switched to anytime when I get food out like that, I get a either Coke Zero or Diet Coke. And that's really helped take off a little bit of the weight.
Well, it's better than nothing because it removes the sugars.
Yeah, I haven't had a sugar soda in probably close to a year now.
Nice. Oh, dude, the other day I was at my buddy's house. We had dinner and everything was great, but afterwards he had cheesecake for dessert, and I could barely get through it because I got such a sugar rush headache. It was one of those things, like cheesecake I think is one of my favorite desserts, for sure. But I can only have a little bit of it because sugar rush just kills me now. I can't hang. I'm not used to having that much sugar in my diet. It was awful.
Chips.
I'm putting them up.
Yeah, could you do that closer to the mic? Yeah, I'm just opening these Christmas presents, and I've got all this bubble wrap.
I got a tweet from Zach that I put a question out there if there's anything people want to
Zach
talk
D.
about. Yep. And he says, obviously the X-Bone and what it's like finding work at the start of a new console generation.
Oh yeah, well, that's actually our main topic that we didn't even get to at all. Is the new Xbox. And I've got to refill my drink, but I'm just going to throw out my opinion here real quick, and then you guys can do your own and mull over whatever you think. But here's my deal with the new Xbox. Shut the fuck up with your dumb opinions about what you're speculating it's going to be. They haven't shown off any games or anything. I mean, obviously, if you saw, there was that 2-minute or like 1 minute or 90-second whatever highlight of the Xbox debut where the guy goes TV, sports, COD. The Xbox reveal so far has been nothing, and whatever people are saying, it doesn't freaking matter. Though I do think if all that surveillance stuff is legit, I think it's crazy, and also I think the used game argument is bullshit. Anyway, go ahead, guys.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that it could kill GameStop and actually stop people from reselling games. I'm cool with that.
Wait, I thought they had a deal with GameStop.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Not today's news. Oh no.
Oh, I've been doing stuff today, so if they...
Yeah,
maybe I did. Maybe I read it wrong.
Even then, that just kind of goes to show that we still don't really know anything because we're just kind of like, did we hear something about GameStop? I don't know. And that's just the way it is. Like you said, it's just one of those things you just have to wait until it comes out. Sure, they're going to backpedal on things, and they're holding off to see what Sony has to say, and they wanted to reveal their hardware before Sony did, and people are like, well, they should have just waited till E3. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to compete with the Sony reveal, at the same time. They could have handled things a lot better, but it was what it was, and there's no need to fearmonger and be all paranoid about, them watching and streaming everything back to Microsoft headquarters. That's just not going to... Like, in this day and age, people actually think that you can buy a device that will be put into your living room that will stream video and store it on some server out there without anyone knowing. Like they don't go to the tech blogs, I guess, like I do, where as soon as a new gadget is released, they tear it down. They tear it down and they say exactly what it does and all that. And they're like, hey, check all these internal components. And, you know, in this day and age, if someone was doing that and transmitting that much bandwidth, you're going to know about it. Shit, some people will just look at their bill and be like, where the hell did all these, you know, gigs of bandwidth go? You know, it's really dumb. And man, oh man, that thread on Polycount just, people are so paranoid.
I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world, the absolute easiest thing in the world to be a doomsayer about anything new in regards to games, especially the ones coming out of big monolithic multinational companies like Microsoft or Sony for that matter. But yeah, we can remind ourselves that this happened right before E3, and obviously exclusive titles are what's going to ultimately make or break the Xbox. It's not going to be all the gimmicky stuff with TV, although that stuff is important, and having the one device that does just about everything in the living room besides it being a game machine, yeah, that does matter to a lot of consumers in general. But what happens at E3, not every exclusive title is going to be published by Microsoft. They've probably got deals in the wings with lots of other publishers, and they are probably all geared towards them releasing at E3, not in their big tent circus show. So, yeah. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. My whole thoughts on the Xbox is if it comes out and there's some games for it that I really want to play, I'll buy it and I'll play these games.
Exactly.
Other than that, I don't expect anything else from this machine except for if I want to play games on it, I can play game on it, and that's where it's going to go for me. If it has these other things on it, like the whole TV stuff, that, you know, and I get it for games, and the TV stuff works good, hell, I'll use that. But I don't see how you can hate something that you know nothing about. It's just
yeah, that's why.
Yeah, if it has some killer titles, then I'll definitely get one. But right now, I don't see myself getting one unless there's some amazing titles that I can't live without. I will say when it comes out, though, all the 360 games, hopefully they'll go cheaper.
Yeah, I've done nothing on my regular Xbox in 2 years except for watch Netflix. So I'm.
You're already using it for what the One is being advertised as using.
Yes.
Yeah, for that matter.
Yeah, it's kind of like me. Ever since we hit it hard with Dinosaur, I let my live subscription go. But before that, all I was doing was I was downloading digital games. I was watching Netflix and streaming radio, like when I'm cleaning or doing other things. My Blu-ray player I hardly even touch, and even my Blu-ray player has the ability to stream Netflix and YouTube and all that stuff. Actually, yeah, that was the other thing. YouTube as well. And ESPN, when I had cable, I would watch sports clips through there. So, yeah, I mean, for me as a consumer, I would like to buy one box that can do it all for me instead of having to buy a whole bunch of boxes.
You mean like a PC?
Remotes. Yes, but I don't want to fit a giant, I don't want to have to buy an ATX case or whatever, just to try and fit it in there, which is why the Ouya appeals to me too, because I have my Ouya now and I just have it in my room, and it just sits there. It's this little box with an HDMI cable that plugs into the thing. It's got a tiny footprint, and I could just play games. I don't have to worry about building a PC or anything like that. I want to separate my entertainment life from my PC. I sit here, work all day. I don't really want to sit here to watch movies and center my entertainment hub around my PC. So, I'm not a hardcore gamer. I consider myself kind of an average consumer. So for me, it's ideal to have a box that I could take out of the box, plug an HDMI cable in the back, plug it into my TV, and be done with it.
Yeah, just plug it in and go. That's man. You can't say enough about the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
That classic idea of a console of just like plug it in, bam, and those old cartridges, no loading. Oh.
Yeah.
That's old school. These kids today, what do they know? But I've been that same guy. Like I never got into all the extra features, but I can see where a guy like Tracy said, he's using it for the Netflix, and that's cool. That's great that it has those features and has these abilities. So So it's you can't hold this super negative opinion of something that's trying to kind of encompass all entertainment, because somebody's going to love that, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. You know, my Ouya right now, speaking of SNES, that's what my Ouya main function is my Super Nintendo. I usually game it before I go to bed, you know, I'll play some Zelda or something.
Well, what the hell was this Zelda game you're talking about? Was that some kind of modded thing, some user thing? Zelda
the
Dark
one that
Dungeons,
I
or what was
Parallel
it?
Worlds?
Parallel Worlds, what is
I
that?
posted about?
Yeah.
It's probably one of the more famous Zelda mods, I guess. I was up in Dallas at a used game store, and I saw this cart. It's a full package, and it's Zelda Parallel Worlds, and it was a Super Nintendo box. I was like, "What the hell is this?" And it had like a fake Nintendo sticker on it and stuff.
The seal of approval.
Yeah, it was some fake knockoff seal of approval, and they wanted like $300 for it. What? And so I came home.
And so you emulated it for free.
Yeah, I researched it, and I was like, "Oh, it's a Zelda mod." Okay, so I downloaded it. It's supposed to be like one of the most difficult Zelda mods ever, and it is. This thing is insane.
Based on a Link to the Past, because it's SNES.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a modded Link to the Past. It's frustrating a little bit at times because they do things where like there's dungeons with invisible floors and you just kind of have to find your way, just trial and error.
The Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest effect.
Yeah, and the kicker is when you start the game, and if you die, you have to start from the beginning of the entire game until
it's roguelike?
Until you get your first sword, right?
Oh, Jesus.
If you remember Link to the Past, you go and you find your dad, and he gives you the sword like right away.
Your uncle.
That's the first thing you do. Or your uncle, yeah.
Sorry, I'm an aficionado here.
Well, in Parallel Worlds,
I can 100% it in an hour 45.
In Parallel Worlds, you have to basically defeat an entire dungeon before you get to that point, and so you do that without
no
any
sword
whatsoever. And before you can even get to that dungeon, you have to do a mini dungeon just to find the lantern, and use the lantern to traverse that other dungeon. And if you die anywhere in there, which to me it was about 2.5 hours worth, you start from the beginning of the game.
And you're all, God damn it!
Yeah, and so save state. Like that's the way you have to play that game.
Yeah, of course.
What's the game called again?
Zelda Parallel Worlds.
John Henderson just put it in the chat there.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Yeah.
Next week, yeah.
I recommend if you're a hardcore Link to the Past gamer, like I love.
I'll definitely have to check it out based on my credentials. Actually, there's another cool thing you can do. Sorry to cut you off. I'm just going to throw it out there real quick, but you can look this up. It's a Zelda No Sword. The original NES Legend of Zelda is there's a fun way to play where you just no sword it, and you can get all the way to the very end. Ganon can only be hit with the Master Sword. So up to that point, you can get all the way to that point without a sword. And I've done it before, and it's a lot of fun, and it's very difficult. It's very, you got to get bombs and arrows. Arrows are obviously your main thing. But anyway, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, if you're a hardcore Link to the Past fan, like I wouldn't say I'm the most hardcore, but it's one of my top favorite games. I would play Zelda Parallel Worlds, but play it on emulator with save states because oh my god, just walking into a dungeon. There was this one room where you have those 3 worms that jump out of the ground, and well, imagine doing that, but with the floor tiles that shoot fireballs at you. So you have all these fireballs constantly flying at you, and then you're trying to kill these worms and stuff. It's insane. It is insane. But
it sounds like some nice arbitrary madness, like classic Zelda was. I mean, there was. If anybody, I've known people that have been huge Zelda fans that have never played or beat. They never beat, but they've also never played the original NES Legend of Zelda. But some of those rooms where you go into a room where there's like 8 blue dark nuts and there's 2 of those statues spraying fireballs at you, that's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, there was a room very similar to that where it has those pitfall floors where if you get too close you fall down, and there was 8 floor tiles that shot fireballs, so you have to navigate the maze of pits while you're dodging all these fireballs constantly coming at you. It's insane. It'll be frustrating, but so far it's been worth it. You feel accomplished. You're just like, yes. So yeah, I've
Cool.
only beaten two dungeons so far.
I'll have to check it out for sure. Yeah,
Definitely
just
do
just,
that.
just a seg. Go ahead.
Soon. That's good to know.
Just a segue out of that, I was just checking the Twitter because you guys were talking about how you tweeted all that shit. And just about 24 minutes ago, Gavin Golden, how do you say his last name? Hell, I've never even asked.
Oh, what an asshole!
Yeah, what an asshole. Doesn't he work? Did he work on the BioShock? Anyway, he did tweet TV, sports, TV, water cooler. I forgot water cooler. Thank you, sir.
Well, Lee talked about the water cooler before, I guess, with the ice cream. That's
Oh,
why
yeah.
they would meet up and have their water cooler meetings, I guess.
Dude,
I
you know
just
you're the
step away
tough.
real quick.
Go ahead.
I said I just need to step away real quick. I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay. I was gonna say, you're the tough guy at the office when you're the guy that changes the water cooler on the regular. Because for one, you're one drinking water, and
2, you can lift the damn thing.
these things are. You got to put it on right, or you're spilling water all over the place.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy.
I remember one time one of my old coworkers was trying to flip one of those, and he got his finger caught right there at the edge, and it's crushed his finger, and I was just laughing at him because I'm like, you fucking idiot. Because how do you do that? How do you put your finger down? Oh, God. Anyway.
He was sticking his finger into the nozzle to keep the water from pouring out. Was that at Mythic?
No, it's somewhere else. I don't want to say. Well, it wouldn't matter because he's not in the industry anymore. But anyway, Twitter. Yeah, of course, as he said, Zachy D is on that. He's on that. He's asking about the X Bone. And like he said, we talked about the Xbox a little bit. Obviously, we're waiting on the games, and we're waiting on the reality of it is because, like I said, there's all these crazy things they said it's going to do. It's going to survey your house and all this crap and use games and whatever. But we'll see when it actually comes out because there's going to be. I always say it. It's never what they say in anything. Just don't watch movie trailers. Don't look at anything. Just get it and see how it works.
Yeah. And if you're worried about it surveying you, just toss a sheet or something over top when you masturbate.
Yeah. Or just masturbate in front of it constantly. Never play it. Just keep it online and just masturbate right in front of it. It's like right there.
What I thought was funny was when I think it was I saw an article that said that if you were watching the Xbox conference on your Xbox, every time the Xbox would be like, hello? It would like pop up real quick. And so people were constantly there. The live stream was constantly pausing for them.
Fair enough.
Out there.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Because the Kinect was being like, hello? When he says Xbox.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like Xbox.
Fucking
and then
Xbox.
Xbox. So I'm sure, people
Well,
were
the
like,
Kinect had facial recognition on it, right?
Yeah.
You could walk by it and be like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
And nobody gave a shit about that.
That reminds me of there's like a football game commercial for the Xbox where he's playing and his friend walks in and goes, Spike! And the guy on the game spiked it.
Ooh.
And it's like, why did you make this commercial? You just made a commercial of one of the biggest flaws of your game that some douchebag can walk in the room and say something and just fuck up your entire game.
Quit.
Yeah. It's like, why did you
Dashboard.
Yeah.
Some shit. Yeah, there was another question. Somebody asked about the PS4 or possibly any E3 stories or predictions. I guess we kind of talked about E3 a little bit earlier. The PS4, I don't know anything about it. They hadn't said anything, right?
Yeah, we know less about that than we do about the X-Bone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's gonna come out and it's gonna be pretty decent because Sony makes a nice product.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I just got a kick out of the commercial where he's like, the big thing is, and they show the giant old man head that's awkwardly.
oh yeah, that
like,
does
it's
not
like,
matter at all.
With this old man, he has personality, and it's like, oh no, he looks like he can't find his car. It's like,
Well, we've heard this one before. It was called No Milo for the Kinect.
Poor Milo. He didn't make it very far.
No. Well, again, if you have Peter Molyneux behind you, you can sound pretty awesome. Or creepy, or one of the two, or at the same time. I don't know.
Just to be weird, what about Seaman on the Dreamcast?
Oh yeah.
What was that all about? That guy was like one of the first interactive kind of games, I guess. Where you're
yeah, I mean, it had a terrible name, and it was probably the creepiest looking fucker ever made for any game ever.
And by the way, it's C-Man, like S-E-A, like
Yes.
the M-A-N, not
Yeah.
like jizz. But
Yeah.
it was a weird... how would you explain it? Like a virtual pet, but it had a human. It was a fish with like a human's face. I don't know how to explain it. It was weird. Look up YouTube videos.
Nightmare.
Oh, it was a definite nightmare. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we've talked about that stupid thing for long enough. Hey, Lee, look at that!
Yes.
Look at that fucking angry face you're making.
I'm sorry. I've been making decals all day.
No, that's cool. Guy's working hard. This Dana White look-alike. I just noticed that recently about Lee. Look at Lee. Look at him. He kind of looks like Dana White. Say, hey, say the word "fuck" in a sentence like 7 times, and you'll nail it. Anyway.
Oh, Seaman's up over there.
Yeah, I got my semen.
Oh yeah, there's Seaman right there. Anyway, Unity. You've got some experience with Unity, right, Lee?
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Space Hulk has been made in Unity.
Any other guys use Unity at all? And by that I mean
Right.
Unity,
No.
Unity engine.
I've looked at it, but nope.
UNITY.
No, it's becoming I feel like it's like the biggest growing engine out there. Obviously, Unreal and CryEngine have been the top 2 in the industry lately, as far as popularity and user base, community kind of building type engines. But
Yeah,
Unity,
Unity's definitely taking off.
it's going to that next level because they just announced, what was it, last week or the week before, that the
I think so,
the
yeah.
mobile version is now free. Is that right?
I think the mobile. No, I was reading the mobile. Is it the mobile plugins are free?
Yeah, I thought it was the tools, like the
I
mobile
think it's the
tools.
Yeah, just the tools, but
Free, yeah.
they're
Yeah.
opening it up quite a bit. That's the point.
Yeah. No, I really like Unity. I mean, it's definitely nice using the underdog, having used Unreal for so many years. But it's nice to use something that I just wish you use Unreal for so long, and then you get used to that nice material editor, and then you go to Unity and you're like, oh man, what do I do?
Well, it's the same way
I
with
miss
CryEngine. I got so used to the material editor and Unreal, and the CryEngine one is like a bunch of sliders and checkboxes. But
Mhm.
over the long term, you learn the value of one versus the other. With Unreal, you see a lot of guys who they have portfolio pieces where it's just like a diffuse plugged into the diffuse slot, normal plugged into the normal slot. And they don't set up proper. You have to really learn to set up a proper material. Whereas like a CryEngine kind of has those templates.
Yeah.
Templates. Anyway.
Templates.
It's every engine has these different things that you might either like or dislike, and there's a benefit to the simplified material editor, but there's also, it's kind of nice to be able to, if you know how to work it, to build some crazy shit.
Yeah. Like I've never used the CryEngine. I've been learning it on my own, but I'm still finding it. It's very different from the Unreal editor. It's very different from the Unity editor as far
It's
as
a lot like 3D
particle
Studio
stuff.
Max.
Yes, yeah, but it supposedly has really good tools for doing all kinds of things. So
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I was lucky enough to work on a couple of games for it, and it was nice. I really enjoyed it, and I feel like just that knowledge and just working with and just getting to meet and work with those people was such a great thing.
I would definitely
So-
say that Unity is the best for doing prototyping very quickly. Like anybody can, like Unreal first-person shooter, they've got that nailed out. But if you
Yeah,
want
you just throw in the UT game, but if you try to do
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
different, you're kind of like, good luck, asshole.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that if you want a side-scrolling shooter, you just lock the camera in place in Unity and you go to town. Unlike in Unreal where you have to kind of lock the camera on the player and do some hacking.
Well, we'll
and,
give them
you know.
this. The Kismet has been updated quite a bit, and you've seen some new
Oh, yeah.
videos where, like, especially that mobile version of UDK where they have like the Jazz Jackrabbit demo. And they
Mhm,
have
that was really cool,
heavily simplified Kismet to being the gameplay controller. But
Yeah.
you're right.
I mean, it's great talking about Unity, and you think about its whole history as a bunch of Danish guys that were wanting to make a game, and they didn't quite make it, but they had really good tool sets, so they put out Unity 1. And I think it could be said that, yeah, what Lee just said about it being a prototyping tool, that's what everyone was talking about for pretty much the first 2 versions of it. There weren't a whole lot of finished projects with it, but once 3 came around, and especially 3.5, then you started seeing a bunch of games, even commercial titles, that are finished and playable. And now, really, you don't have any excuse. If you're using Unity, you can finish something, and other people will play it.
Yeah.
There's that stigma. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, like on the game jam that I was helping out at, like there was one team that wanted to use UDK, and they were still, like on day 3, they still didn't have a prototype done, and they were.
Well, they just sucked.
Well, no. They were doing all these fancy materials and these high poly characters, and
Well, that's just a scope problem.
Yeah,
I can have a prototype in a night.
But they were asking me, like, how do you do this in UDK? And I was like, I don't, you only
spent a lot of time on
days.
it.
You only have 3 days. You don't have a lot of time. You really, UDK is good for doing, as somebody said, a friend of mine was trying to evaluate the different engines, and he was saying that, UDK is good for if you've want to do AAA stuff, games, but Unity is best for for rapid prototyping.
Yeah, the last Unity game I've played was the Surgeon Sim, and man, I've had more fun on that than any AAA game in the last forever. At the last Company Fun game, we had that up in the art pit on a big projector on the wall with people.
Oh, nice.
People playing it playing it multiplayer with one person controlling the fingers and another person controlling the arm.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, people, if you don't know about Surgeon Simulator, you should look that up because it is a hilarious game. You don't even have to play it. Just watch the videos. It's ridiculous. But one of the things that I really admire about a lot of the Unity stuff is the in-browser stuff. Like, I just install a plugin and I click on it and there it is. And that was something that they pretty much spearheaded as far as their engine was concerned. That's a new thing for UDK. Obviously, they have the mobile now, and they do have the web version that they've been talking about. I haven't used it yet, but the Unity thing has been around a while. Now, the difference there is there's a bit of a credibility, I would say, attached to Unreal Engine, so more people will go to it, because Unreal, when did Unreal 1 come out? 1997 or 98? I'm not exactly sure which year it was.
97.
97, thank you. But from that point, they were a technology company, and they were selling the engine, and there were game after game released in the engine. Therefore, people have it like, okay, look at all these. There's like 100+ games that have used Unreal Engine. And the only reason there isn't that many games using Unity is because it's newer. It's like a new kid on the block. And that's the same thing that also goes with CryEngine, is not as many people. It's a newer engine.
Yeah, and you also get the thing of, like, Epic's made some awesome-ass games with Unreal, so people assume that, if I get this, my game will be this awesome. And,
one of the things that I like and I admire about Epic is they hire the best artists, and they give them a lot of time per piece, and that's why the games and those artist portfolios are so fucking great.
Yeah,
because they work hard, but
They do work very hard.
And they can afford to do that because they're not just making a game; they're making a commercial for an engine.
Yep, everyone's want to.
But having used Unreal for so long, I do like their tool set. It is very artist friendly.
Yes, it's amazing. Nice. Anyone can just open up Unreal and throw some shit in it, and just minutes and get stuff in and working. With some basic tutorials that you can find all over the internet, you can have shit in Unreal in
on my YouTube channel.
Yes. You have a YouTube channel?
YouTube channel? What is your YouTube channel?
It's the worst name ever. Dr. Squats and Milk. So just rely on a link. That's what I used to do, man. Back in the days, I would come up. That was and when I originally signed up on YouTube was just because, 1,000 years ago when YouTube first launched, you couldn't watch anything that was sort of like deemed like R-rated or PG-13 or whatever, unless you logged in and confirmed your age. So I made an account, and that was in the era in which I got tired of all these fucking websites making you sign up. So I came up with just, every time I make a username, I would come up with the worst name ever. And Obviously, Dr. Squats and Milk is long and unspellable. I did the same thing on CG Talk. I made the username Gradius Cancer. Just the worst. Every website, literally, I come up with the worst username ever. Now I've changed and just I try to make my real name as much as possible, except for the UDK forums where I go by Max Power, which is based on that episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, my Yahoo was Mean Dell the Snail, just because everything I was trying to put in related to my regular usual nickname was already taken. So I threw that in.
Yeah, I think that was part of the reason why I started coming up with these awful names. Is you get tired of, okay, here's my username that I have on this place, and then you go to the other site, oh, it's taken. So what do I got? Oh, my username 69, or my username 420, or my username XXX. You know, like that's what every asshole does.
Right.
Yeah, and my Battlefield name was taken. So in Battlefield Bad Company 2, I had to switch over to McBeef Right Hook. That's my name in that.
It's a good name.
Yeah, because someone took Unicorn Power.
Probably my favorite name was in Dungeon Runners, which I actually worked on as a contract artist. Didn't you work on it too? You worked on it too, right? Actually,
I made the pizza cutter.
What's that?
I made the big pizza cutter.
Yeah,
weapon.
me and Tracy were actually roommates, and we both worked on that game at the same time. But I made my favorite username ever for that game, Butch Deadlift.
Oh.
Great name. Anyway, I think we've talked about Unity for long enough. That was actually a pretty good engine comparison. A lot of perspectives there. Pretty nice.
I was going to say, my mistake, Unreal came out in 98.
Oh,
We trusted.
Fair
you.
enough.
Yeah.
Let's point out that
I remember playing Unreal 1 on my Voodoo 2, and I remember shooting the gun and then walking several spaces, and then the gun went off, and I was like, time for a new graphics card.
Oh yeah, the frame rate. Yeah, I was the same way. That was before Unreal and Quake 1. They supported the first, what they called it, graphics cards.
Yeah.
Which were back in those old days. Obviously, we're talking about 1997, 1998. Those were only for video games. Nothing else used it. Only these bleeding edge video games, such as, again, Quake 1, Unreal 1, used it. And Quake 1 didn't even have colored lighting. Quake 2 had colored lighting, and Unreal 1 had colored lighting. But you could, if you knew the right console commands, you could actually run all that in software mode, and you would get that where it would be like frame, 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 frame. Like really terrible. Like 1 frame per second kind of frame rate.
Yeah,
and you could see all that nice colored lighting and stuff, but
it looked good, you know. And then the invention of hooking two Voodoo 2s up together to go SLI,
yeah, stacking your video cards. What a bunch of shit we did.
Yeah, 16 megabytes of video RAM.
Ooh.
Put it in perspective in a way that makes everyone hate me. 1998 was 15 years ago.
Ugh.
Is that all?
Yeah. Think about what Unreal was compared to Quake, because for a while, a lot of people were using id's technology to make other games. Like the Quake 3 engine was where it really peaked out, but id really just decided we didn't want to support software anymore. And Epic was like, okay, we will, and they've supported it, consistently all this time. And what was the result? Epic still independently owned, and it sold out to Bethesda.
Right, that was a very sad moment in my life. As a guy who started by, I played Wolfenstein, I modded Doom. We're on the BBS boards uploading our WADs. That's what Doom mods were. They were WAD files, .wad. Yep. It was very sad. As a Quake modder, a Quake 2 modder, all that stuff. It was very sad to see that fall out of the...
I was in a clan, and I remember that...
You were in a Quake 1 or 2 clan?
Quake 2 clan.
Nice.
And so, I was an online clan. I didn't know anybody, and then I made a skin for myself, and all of a sudden...
everybody was your friend?
Make a skin. Yes, everyone was like, "Could you make us a clan?" Because
that was the same way. That's how I got started with the once. Yeah, like I said, I did Doom mods, but that was all BBS. No one really knew any of that stuff I did. Mm-hmm. But once I got the internet and Quake, because I was kind of lucky. I had a friend who was basically my best friend through high school. He was into computers. So he was into like building them, doing servers and all that stuff back in the 90s when no one was doing that. And he showed me Quake that when they did that original like alpha demo release where you just walked around a room and it was like holy shit. And I saw that and I was sold. I was like, "Are you shitting me?" And I got him to build me when I graduated from high school. I got him to pick out and build my PC. It was all about Quake. Was that whole PC? And that's all I did, man. Just mod
it's
that
amazing
shit.
when you think about like when Quake first came out, like and you saw it, you're like, graphics can't get any better than this. It's this.
It'll never be better.
This is practically real. And then, like every game generation that comes out, like it can't get any better than this. This is practically real.
And now I'm just like, fuck these graphics. It'll be better in a year. It'll be better. I could make better right now, kind of graphics. You know what I mean? You get that way over time.
I just remember that about Quake, like Quake and Quake 2, like just everybody be blown away, like it's so real. And you go back and look at it now, and it's like these block.
Oh yeah, I remember sitting around the computer with two friends, like watching me play Doom, and we're playing Doom during the day, and we were scared to death because the area I gotta walk into here, and it's totally dark, and you hear that, and you hear the guys. We were just scared to fucking death of this.
Well, you remember when we made the voyage to the Micro Center and bought the Xbox and the Gears of War? Like me and you went and bought it. Like one of us bought the game and the other one bought the console.
Yeah.
And we pretty much sat on the couch and one person would play, and 90% of the playing was like running up to something and looking at it.
Yeah,
going,
you would play and I'd analyze the art, or I would play and you'd analyze the art, and that's what we did.
Like, you would look like I don't see this cave texture tiling. Like the caves in there were just crazy.
Yeah, we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, now you look back and go, oh, I see it, but then,
yeah, it was that same
God,
Quake 1 and Quake 2
that childlike, just imagination, that love for games.
Look at the water running over everything.
Holy shit! How do they do that? Oh, it's just a fucking plane of a tiling or a panning texture.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when I saw some of like the new Call of Duty, the next gen one. When they had the developer walkthrough, I downloaded that off of YouTube, and I was going frame by frame looking at their particle system with a fish. Like, oh, fish.
And
well, technology has finally advanced to a point where they get out of your way now.
The dog has his own Twitter account now.
Nice.
Yeah, that bullshit and that fucking Xbox demo where they showed the guy, he's like, look at this next gen tech, and the fish move out of the way, and then the video cuts to Mario 64 where he's swimming and the fish move out of the way. You fucking assholes. Wait, you know the developers behind that were like really mad about that shit. You know, because that's how it works, man. When you're a developer, you're working on stuff and you know what's legit, you know what's real, but the marketers behind it always focus on that just garbage.
Yeah.
It makes you so
like,
mad.
And Warhammer was trying to get the ice lake to where you would slide when you ran on it, and they kept saying we can't make the characters slide. And I was like, fucking Mega Man would slide on ice. It's like it can't be that hard. It's like,
dude, I was back when I was doing PlayStation 2 dev. We had a programmer that said that you can't jump from platform to platform. You mean that thing that's been in every single platforming game since the original platformer, Donkey Kong?
The core of the platformer game.
Yeah, there's a whole class of games called platformers. Why are they called that? Because they got platforms on it, and you probably jump on them. Yeah, the technology gets better, but the gameplay kind of needs to follow it. But again, you need to have people that at least have the vision and the know-how to bring it to the next generation. Otherwise, you're just kind of flailing about a lot. But again, you guys are experienced developers. You know what that's about.
Yeah, the thing that I've encountered is over the years in the game industry is you encounter very different programmers, and some of them are real heavy on like simulation and stuff, and they can't really grasp the idea of Hollywood physics, or it's like, oh well, when you shoot someone and they're standing on a ledge, they should fall forward because that's what cowboys did in the old Hollywood movies. They would fall forward. And it's like, yeah, but the simulation makes them fall back, and they just can't grasp those simple concepts. they can only really think in like these real just like complex simulations. I don't know.
Well, the whole time you guys were talking about the realism and how everyone talks about, back in Quake era, they thought that was going to be as good as it was going to look. Now, besides the amount of workload just to get it, to reach that ceiling of photorealism, you're brushing up against the uncanny valley, and you have that very real risk of making something that's unpalatable or creepy.
Yeah, I kind of wish graphics didn't advance as fast as they did. I would have loved to have been in PS2 era for another like 8 years, just really get that. I feel like we just left that too quick.
Yeah. Well, I love whenever studios choose to do something different, like Team Fortress. Sure, they could have went crazy, realistic, and everything, but they chose to do something different, and that's a big part of what made that game a success.
They really did. They worked on that game for 10 years.
Yeah.
The original demos of it was like the horrors of war, just like another military shooter game. But yeah, at some point they realized, hey, the guys that are playing Team Fortress Classic, they're being goofy as hell. Let's like make the art style that feeds that and have, explodey gibs and all the characters talk. And yeah, ultimately they got a franchise that's not only popular, but what they've got is they can test everything they want to do, and they put it in TF2 first.
Yeah, and I was talking to a friend earlier who said that, she really likes playing Minecraft, even though the graphics are horrible in it. And I was like, well, the graphics aren't horrible. They are planned out and purposely exactly what they are. And if they were anything else more realistic, the game probably would have been nowhere near as successful as what it is.
Nope.
To me, horrible graphics is whenever you don't reach the goal you set. If you set it to be a certain thing, and Minecraft is simple graphics, but it's perfect for what it is. So.
When Minecraft first came out, they were talking, Lego Universe Online, the MMO was they're teasing that, and I'm like, people are already playing Lego Online. It's called Minecraft. And you can't imagine like photorealistic Lego. I mean, yeah, you can make really big Millennium Falcons that are made up of a lot of different Legos, but it's still Lego. You get it close, it's Lego.
Yeah, the last game company I worked at, like the developers / producers / art directors, like just always would rag on me at lunch playing Minecraft because that game looks so bad. How could anyone play something that looks so terrible? Like,
that's a very dumb person.
It's like you're supposed to be a designer. There is more to a game.
Well, here's a great challenge. Could you make a game that looks like that and have it be as fun as I'm having right now? Probably not. If you're going to be focused on what it looks like, you're not going to have a fun game.
Because their company imploded a year later. So.
Yeah, go figure. You have one guy in Sweden that done a bunch of mods and had interned at a couple of shops. Yeah, that's like the new rise of companies that are founded by people that like interned at a quote unquote real company like Mojang or like Clay Interactive, the guys that did Don't Starve. That's like one guy that was a programming intern at Relic up in Vancouver, and then just formed his own company and has been making a game every year for the past 3 years.
Oh, you watched that video today, didn't you?
Which one?
There was one on Clay today. It was on Polygon today, talking about how he started the company. It was really interesting to watch.
I haven't seen that one. Yeah. Well, again, yeah, that's basically one guy and bringing people together, and that was his previous game industry experience, was interning as a programmer at Relic.
Yeah, it's one of those catching lightning in a bottle, to where it's like the Angry Birds things. Like Angry Birds made millions of dollars, so all of a sudden everybody's like,
yeah,
mobile phone.
The most important thing to know about Angry Birds, those guys made 51 games that no one cared about.
Yep.
Angry Birds was their 52nd game, and now they're the Angry Birds company.
Yeah, so everybody, it's the same thing that happened with MMOs like several years back. It's like WoW made money, so like everybody just started throwing MMO dollars at companies, And what happened to 99% of those MMOs? They're already shut down. They've already tanked. It's just, just because something is successful.
The thing about that is most MMOs don't last the first year.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand the business model of an MMO is a long-term contract. But anyway, what are you saying there, John?
Well, I would hazard, though, that the MMO development time, if you got on the dev team, you had a long-term gig if you were able to keep it up. Now, granted, it may launch, it may go, the servers may go black and no one will ever see it again. Remind people MMOs are the one kind of game where someone else decides when you stop playing. There was an article in Kotaku, not that long ago, about finding a tabula rasa box for like a discount rack at Walmart.
Tabula rasa, oh my god.
Yeah,
I like some of the concept art for that, and that's all I can say good about it.
Yeah.
Again, that guy went to space.
You could be working at a small company, and hopefully, you have lots of ideas and lots of things you can execute on. And the other holy grail would be to be in business for yourself and have lots of successful games one after another, and that could sustain you. But you could also, go in with a really big project. Well, man, I'm going to be picked up for 3 years. The game may completely suck, but I get a paycheck for this amount of time, and I get to live here. Mm. I can just see that being enticing to some people.
Yeah, well, I mean, all I've worked on my entire career is MMOs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been everything from Ultima Online expansions up to now.
Yeah, and Tracy's been around a long time. That's a career built on games that he can't play anymore.
Yeah.
Ultima Online you can't play, but yeah, some you probably can in between.
Yeah. But
it doesn't look much like what it was.
That's why I'm very happy to be working on something that has blood and death and carnage right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Warhammer was successful for an MMO when it came out.
Oh, it did great. Well, actually, there's still servers, and they have that new what is it? You go to WarhammerOnline.com. You can find what is it that just PvP game?
I thought that's already been shut down.
Has it been shut down? Shit! I gotta go and look.
Wait, Warhammer got shut down?
No, the weird spin-off where they took all the art assets we made and
they made no new anything.
Yeah, they put some terrible filters on them, and then,
it appears to be gone.
Yeah.
Good call.
Are you looking at it?
I just went to WarhammerOnline.com, and it's just Age of Reckoning, the MMO.
Yeah, I believe that one. I believe there was an announcement like a month or so back that they was already shut down.
Dude, I loved that game.
Dota. It was like their Dota type game.
Yeah. I loved it so much, but they just, I feel they gave up on it.
They had no end game. That was their problem.
Well, I mean, I played to RR80. I was a max level character early on. But then there was I played the game on the regular, and I got laid off. But so they gave me a free account because I worked on the stupid game that was like, oh, look, here's a whole bunch of severance and a free account. That was cool.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that shit.
Yeah, you guys were. Anybody that was. Here's the thing about being laid off. Get laid off early.
Yeah.
If you get laid off late, you get nothing. You get laid off early, you get all the benefits.
Yes,
that is the weirdest
true.
piece of advice I've ever gave, but it's as everybody just said, it's so fucking true.
Yeah, you guys took all my layoff money.
we stuck it to you.
I made it through the layoffs and then got fired after the layoffs. So after the stuff I was working on got finished.
Ugh, brutal.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I said, I played the game.
That is a good rule of thumb. Make sure you get laid off.
Yeah. Well, if here's a cool thing you can do if you're a badass, especially if you're like in a higher position. If you know layoffs are coming, you volunteer for the layoffs, and then you look like a fucking hero, and you get all the benefits.
Yeah, or just even if you don't know, just occasionally send your producer an email saying, "Hey, if you guys are laying off,
yeah,
I would like some free money to sit at the house for a while." so.
Yeah, that's such a weird but true fucking fact. How crazy is that?
Yeah,
Also,
I've had a lot of friends get screwed over because the company that was laying them off, by the time they got laid off, they just ran out of money. Mm-hmm. File for bankruptcy. You don't have to really worry about any of that. But all the friends that got laid off before, they got their packages and they got their vacation days all paid out. But yeah, very true.
I think you had a very early discussion with Mr. Jones about checking the health of your employer and how important that is. And that might be another reason to do that. It's like know when to get out.
Oh.
Definitely a
that's
fair
very
assessment.
important. Because if you don't, another advantage of getting laid off early or leaving the company soon is that the market's not going to get flooded.
Oh yeah.
The local market, I should say.
Yeah, whenever Warhammer let everybody go, that was during one of the big economic downfalls, and it was so hard to get a gig after that for me. It was just, I was looking everywhere, flying around everywhere, interviewing, and it's just, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that do have a lot of loyalty and stuff to the companies, but I mean, in the end, you just got to watch out and make sure that you take care of yourself.
You can have
No
loyalty
one can
to the
fault you for
company.
that.
You can have loyalty to the company, but they may not have it to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to always be cautious. Like, I love working at King's Hall. I've had nothing but good experiences there. But we've got a company meeting coming up tomorrow where they're taking us to taking the entire studio to watch Star Trek and have a company meeting. And even though I'm 99% sure this is going to be a good meeting, there's that 1% that's like, oh shit, what if this is it?
I've had those meetings so many times. Yeah, exactly. Whenever we've got a company meeting, you always have to worry that it's going to end with, okay, so here's the deal.
Well, you remember Jacobs, like every time they announced a meeting, he would always, in the email, go, don't worry, this isn't a bad meeting. Nothing bad's going to happen, so don't worry about it. And then the one meeting notice we get where that wasn't at the beginning of it, everybody's like, oh, fuck.
Back at Mythic, I'll give that to Mark Jacobs. Like, I never fucking saw him or dealt with him on a personal basis at work. But when it came to meetings, that guy was legit, right? Would you say that's one thing that you can respect about that guy?
Yes. I will say our creative director at King's Isle quit here a while back, Todd Coleman. So now our company head, Ely, who actually lives and works in Dallas, he is down like about 1 week out of the month in the studio. And that guy is a straight shooter. and it's pretty refreshing to hear the way he talks. He'll be like, if this isn't working, we're cutting this. And
that's good to know, man.
And he will tell people stuff straight up, and I really love that. And another thing that, this is slightly a tangent, but you get a lot of problems in your manager hierarchy to where if an employee requests a new tool or a new piece of hardware, like say a Cintiq, your direct supervisor goes, if I request these 50 Cintiqs, it's going to make us look, we're going to be eating up company money, and that's not going to look good. So they tend to not push for it because they don't use it, and we've been using the regular tablets forever. But apparently, like, Ely walked into the studio just one day and was like, why does this guy have a Cintiq and this guy doesn't? Because he had his personal one. And then a couple of months later, every artist in the company had Cintiqs. Like he just went out and just hauled them all in.
It's really nice to have a money man that can at least be concerned enough about employees to take care of them at some level.
Well, they were filming like a little news clip, and they were filming on one guy's machine because he had the Cintiq.
Oh.
And Ely was like, why doesn't this other guy have one of those? And it's like, well, this is my personal one. I brought it in from home. Yeah, and so he just went out, and like now every artist in the company has Cintiqs. So yeah, I'm totally cool with him. And every time I've actually talked to him more since he's been here than ever with Todd. Todd was always just like above ever, not out in the pits. And yeah, like Ely comes by and checks in on stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I'm totally cool with him.
Is Ely still in Dallas? I thought he'd actually moved here.
Whenever I was getting this apartment, he was in the leasing office here talking about apartment. But I think it's only going to be part-time because I think his family's still up there.
Yeah, I think he probably has a house, too.
Yeah.
See, I had the complete
nice
opposite experience with Todd because he'd come over and he'd be like, hey, what about this and what about this? And he was
what
super
project
hands-on. A Pirate.
Yes, you were on the favorite project at the time. If
Oh,
you were
okay,
on Wizard, you never Todd didn't care if Wizards just exploded because it was already out. So
Oh my.
yeah, he would go by all the pirate people, but yeah, if you were on Wizards, you never heard from him.
Okay, yeah. I just saw he just posted his new studio pictures today.
But
Jesse Beck.
Oh, Jesse just dropped out and came right back. One thing I'd say, you gotta be careful about mentioning people unless you just want to put them over.
I'm back. Yeah. I
That's,
didn't get to hear the end of Tracy's story, but oh well.
He basically threw some guy under the bus and then put his hairy arm up in the camera.
Oh, nice.
But I'll tell you
Sad
what,
I missed that.
I wouldn't say I threw Todd.
No, you did
I would
fine.
just say
No.
his
I was
priority
just
was
kidding.
on the new project
No,
and
he
not
was just
the
telling-
old project.
Yeah, I was just putting perspective of since I only worked on that one project.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say anything was under the bus.
Yeah.
So we got one of the questions from the emails, and people they ask. They say, "Hey, CrunchCast, how do I become a better person?" Kind of questions. There was this one, and I felt we talked about it a little bit earlier. I felt the question was a bit worded incorrectly, but the idea was, what's the benefit of working at a smaller studio versus like a big corporate studio? Like, let's say you got a place that has 5 to a dozen people versus a big corporate office like an EA studio or an Activision studio that has hundreds of people.
Oh man, can I chime in on that too? Hold on, I'm fixing some particle effects here because now I'm a particle artist, Lee.
Oh yeah? Hook
Yeah.
me up, buddy. Hook me up.
But I'll let other people talk for a
I'll
little
fix
bit.
it for you. I'll fix it for you in 5 minutes. Oh, maybe
Nah,
maybe
I'd
3
rather
minutes.
take 20.
All right. Okay.
I'll say on the question, it depends on the large studio and it depends on the small studio.
I think that's the best answer. It seems like the answer to fucking every game dev question. It's like when it goes back to that shit. Rick, what was his last name? How many polygons in a string?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It depends. Anyway,
There's
go ahead.
some shitty small companies and there's some shitty big companies. There's some good big companies. There's some good, like you were saying earlier, Epic. Big company, big giant name, gives the people time to do their stuff. Hires the best people. Probably an awesome place to work. And then you can go like say this small company that I worked at. Total horrible place to work. It's just. It really depends. It's not so much about the size of the company as the culture and the amount of care they put into hiring good people, and really it also depends a lot on what you want out of a company. If you're the kind of person that's like, I want to make the best art in the world and the best in games that will change lives, or you can be like me and I'm like, yeah, I want to have a comfortable workplace where I'm not killing myself and working, 100 hours a week, and where I can still make something that I'm proud of, even though it's not the super latest gen stuff. So,
I would have to say,
Good point, Tracy.
I've been working remotely for full control, and I'd have to say that probably the best company that I've worked for, like small team wise, because they treat me like I'm actually in the office. Because I have a webcam, and I chat with them like they're getting up for work in like 2 hours. So I usually wake up at like 6 in the morning and I chat with them. And they treat me part of the team, and it's been really, really good being a freelancer, feeling a part. It's the first time I've ever actually worked from home in my career, and I'm definitely say this is the best company that I've ever worked for. And there's only a team of 12.
Right on. Without destroying the conversation, isn't it nice how the virtualness of the world? Obviously, we're all in different places, even though all you guys are in Austin and could be at the same fucking house.
Everybody here is in one place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all just like just live streaming this, and look at that tech. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But again, I think it goes back to what Tracy said. It so depends. I've been at small companies, I've been at many large companies, and I've seen that both the negative and the positive side within both. And there really is no end game question. There are studios that will keep you hired a long time, and there are studios that just have layoffs every quarter. And yeah, you just gotta be prepared for that shit. It's real. For me, I feel like I've had longer times at small studios just because they don't have that corporate structure of every quarter we check the numbers on the money we're making, so we have to lay off as many people, that kind of stuff. I feel like they lay off more, but yeah, maybe not. I've been at big studios for a long time. Anyway.
At this point in your career, Chris, isn't it true that someone like you can do a lot of good in a small pond, whereas before you just kind of get shuffled around and you might grade at that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I can say, the last job I had, which was at Alphonic, was probably one of the best I've ever had, because we actually produced so much product and got to travel so much because we're a small studio, but we're highly affiliated with Crytek because we're one of the first. We were their guinea pig with Nexus, so we got so much out of that. Like, there was a lot of work there. There was a lot of exposure there, and it put us in front of a lot of people. Whereas I've been at other studios, like say Jaleco, for example. We're working on the Goblin Commander, one of my favorite games I've ever worked on, and one of the best studios I've ever worked at because of the people I met. And it was a game that was out on the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. That was my dream at that time, was to put something out on the consoles, and they gave me that dream. But it's, you never know what studio you're going to go to and what experience you're going to get. It could have been disastrous. Imagine you're at one of those studios back in the days where you're spending so much time and you're working hard on a PlayStation 2 game, and it's your dream, but it turns out that they ran out of slots, and that's what they called them in PS2. You had shelf space. If they ran out of shelf space, your game either was canceled or pushed back if it was good. But most of them were canceled.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went into that, but it just kind of freeformed it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and people think that it's harder to cancel a game than what it actually is. Like, I've had people comment like, "Well, you've been working on the game for 3 years. How can they just cancel it? There's so much money in it."
Yeah, they just fucking do that.
Yeah, that's why you have to tally out, like, okay, we spent this much money. It's going to take this much money to complete the game. How much money do we think we're going to make? Yeah. And at any point, if that margin gets too high, it's easier to throw away $3 million than to release and lose $10 million.
Yeah.
So,
well, when
I
people
looked at
talk about that, that's just, to me, talking about how so many people seem to think that game development is just throw lots of money and people at a project and then it just kind of happens. Well,
yeah.
No, not really. And a lot of things you may assume are true at the start of a project get proved wrong throughout. And, just hard decisions have to be made.
Yeah. Like at Pitch Black, they kept extending the time that they were going to have, and I was telling my coworkers, like, this is a bad sign. This game is about to be canned. And they were like, oh, no, they've already put so many $1 million in it that, they're going to stick with it till it's done. I said, well, we're getting close to that line to where we're not going to make this money back. And as soon as the money guys figure this out,
there's your moral, Chris, of this CrunchCast episode right there. What he said: don't do that. Trust your instincts and don't fool yourself into thinking everything is all right.
Yep.
Until the check is cashed, it does not count. I think one of the parts of the email question was talking about corporate malpractices. I think the greatest and most recent corporate malpractice was the guys in Rhode Island.
38, yeah.
38. Holy crap! Those guys were selling. They told people their houses were paid for, and they didn't at all.
Yep.
Oh,
that was so beyond the pale because it was like defrauding the government and the taxpayers of Rhode Island.
Absolutely, it was a national level scale. It was ridiculous.
It was corporate cronyism at its finest or worst, depending on what you wanted out of it. And it'd been nice if they'd actually made something, but no, it didn't happen.
I don't know. That demo looked really good.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, but a demo's a demo.
Yeah, I know.
There's a
but
lot
it
of
looked
nice
really
art.
good.
You can't fault any of the people, the developers. The art was
Yeah.
nice. And what was that game they released? It was basically an MMO, but it was single player.
Was it Titans? No.
No, Kingdoms
No, it's-
of Amalur?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kingdoms Amalur. Yeah, well, that was
Yeah.
the game that Big Huge Games was working on when THQ still bought them, or still owned them. And then 38 just bought Big Huge for a song on the fire sale because THQ was trying to shed something. They bought them 2 more years, and then they put it out at the same time when anyone was playing a fantasy single-player immersive game was already playing Skyrim.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people. I had a few folks. They put it over on Facebook. They said, "Hey, check out this game. I got a demo and I checked it out, and I was like, the art's good. The gameplay and stuff it's solid, but it was an MMO, but it was single player. I just couldn't get into it. And that was me, but obviously the government had some other things to say about their product. Ugh.
Again, keep in mind, Big Huge Games, they were in Baltimore. They weren't even close to that. So all those people were trying to hamstring them into moving north to Rhode Island, and they didn't want to do it. So it's probably better for all those people that wanted to stay in Baltimore.
Was that the company that Epic kind of balled up all the people and made like another company, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
Epic saved the day, and then Epic fired everybody?
Yeah, that was Impossible Games. I know all this stuff because I was actually friends with the guy who was a game director of Big Huge for all of 2 months. And then he kept a lot of the team together, and they formed Impossible. And they started them on a project, and it just kind of all fell apart on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was great, though, because everybody's like, Epic are superheroes. They saved all these people. And then it's like, nah, you guys can just go home. F you guys.
They did pick them up, and they did pay severance afterwards. So
Yeah.
nice for having not shipped anything.
Yeah. It was just kind of funny because, shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder actually what IP they were developing on, like what they were doing. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the more obscure Epic owned. I think they did announce it, but anyway. It's one that Epic can put on the back burner and release them themselves if they want to. Whenever.
Yeah. Let's see. Going back to large companies versus small companies, I think in my experience, I can't say I've worked at a super large company, but I've worked on large teams and small teams. At Terminal Reality, when I first started, we were the whole studio was broken up into three teams basically, and each team was roughly 15 people, and I loved that. Like for me personally, I just love working on a small team. More interaction, more you get to put more of yourself into those projects. Larger team. I feel a little alienated. Like at King's Out, for instance, I didn't know half those people. I mean, even if I was a lot more of a social butterfly when I was there, I wouldn't know half those people. And it just made things feel very impersonal for me, and I just never really enjoyed that. Towards the end of my stay at Terminal, we on Star Wars Connect, we were up, in around 100 person count, I guess, or 100 employees or whatever. And suddenly it hit me when I went to a meeting and I saw some people I didn't know, and I was like, "Who the hell is that guy?" It's like I've been at that studio for 9 years, almost 9 years at that point, and suddenly now there's people I don't know, and that was really just starting to bother me, and I just wanted to go back to that Blood Rain team of at the most it was 27 people or something like that. Not even 20. I think that was Aeon Flux. It was about 24 to 22 people, and that was to me just like perfect. I just like being able to put everything that I have into a single task. They're like, "Hey, we need some characters designed." All right, well, who's going to do it? Well, Jesse will. It's not like, oh, just send it to the concept department, or whatever. And I just seem to like that more. I like being hands-on with everything and figuring all that stuff out and building that camaraderie with people that I just don't get with the larger teams. I don't know. That's just me, though.
You'd rather be recognized as a person who can get the job done rather than just an asset that can do stuff whenever.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to come down to the team, right? Like, me personally, I like small teams, but I've worked with some shitty small teams too, where it's just like, oh my god, no one on this team knows what they're doing. I got to get out of here. One of the recent games I was contracting for was like that. It's just I was watching the people in the small teams. This small team was formed by people who didn't really know. They think they know how to make games, but they don't. And it's just like, wow, there's no one here that's telling these guys no. And so I told them, I pointed out all the flaws in their pipeline, and I don't get contract from them anymore because they felt that they didn't want to hear it. So, it's definitely going to depend on the team and everything like that. I'm sure there's giant teams that run smoothly and everyone's holding hands and shit and running down, flowery fields and singing songs. But I've never experienced that. So on bigger teams, I haven't found a huge team that I'm just like, this is everything that I want it to be.
Yeah, we've got close to probably well over 200 people now, and I just focus on probably the dozen people that I work with, and pretty much all those other people are just people that stand in the room at the meeting. But yeah, there's probably about a dozen people that I work with on a regular basis, and I pretty much consider them, the team.
Yeah, see, and it's funny that you say that because that's basically saying that you enjoy your small team. Mm-hmm. The company size aside, you enjoy your small team of people that you work with. So it is interesting that it's not necessarily the size of the studio. You always first and foremost, you have to be passionate about what you're working on. Like that's something. If you just don't like the project you're on, then you might as well just find another job. If you're just there for a paycheck, seriously, you're just keeping the seat from someone who actually might be excited about working on this project. Go find yourself another job. Do everyone a favor. Do yourself a favor. It's great to wake up in the morning and be excited about your job. Mm-hmm. But yeah, regardless of the size, it just seems like when you're intimate with just a small amount of people, like that's where you really get your groove. You make your friends, and then those guys are that's your team, I guess.
Yeah, and talking about being excited about a job, like a couple of times a year, we get to where our stuff that we've been working on for our new updates hits. And for most of us on the environment side, that's almost like a Christmas day because we're watching the forums and the YouTube channels. And today, the new giant player house that I made came out. And there's YouTube videos of the kids running through it, finding all the little secret things. And the best thing about making games for kids, they're not jerks.
Yeah.
It's there's a forum, there's on the web forum, there's 3 pages talking about this house, and everything is nice.
Yeah, well, for one thing, those kids probably have their parents watching over their shoulders.
I hope so.
Anything not bad about it.
Yeah, everything's nice, and the YouTube videos and walking around, they're all like, "Ooh, look at this over here! Look at this! Look at this!" Yeah, because man, grown-ups are just so jaded. It's every little thing they're just bitching about.
It's like the Xbox One, and
yeah.
No, yeah.
They should just make the Xbox One for 12-year-olds.
I'll agree with you there, man. I still, to this day, it's been almost a year since actually, pretty much on the dot. It's been a year since I left Kings Isle, and I still can go on YouTube and see people I'll type in some of the assets that I worked on, like the Warg, and people are like, this thing's awesome, it looks like a motorcycle, and everyone's like, great, and there's these YouTubes where these kids will just rotate the camera around the Warg, and then or whatever asset that they're highlighting, they'll rotate that camera around it, and then you read the YouTube comments, and everyone's like, "That's amazing," and it just feels it's great. Like making stuff for that audience just makes you feel so good. Like it's just like, wow, I worked hard for that, and everyone here appreciates it. This is great.
Yeah. And we have like a wall of terrible fan art that the kids send in, but they take their time and they do fan art and they send in and hang it up. And yeah, it's just, man, yeah, I don't ever want to make a game for grown up dicks. It's just
Little dicks are fine.
yeah.
I'll agree with that, man.
All right. Well, have we learned enough, Chris?
Oh yeah, man, this has been fantastic, and the way this ended, the way you guys just like took over and did your thing, it was wonderful. We appreciate all that. But yeah, we should probably wrap it up. Does anyone have anything in particular to promote? Obviously, Jesse has Dinosaur Games.
Midnight
Coffee
Chronicles.
Outlaws.
Say again?
Coffee Outlaws, my webcomic.
Oh.
It's on a slight break. It's on a slight break now until my moving is over, but it will be starting back up starting next week. So that's
Okay.
Coffee, COFFEE, Outlaws, OUTLAWS.com.
And that can be
Webcomic.
found on Twitter at
Yes.
Coffee Outlaws, spelled just like the word COFFEEOUTLAWS.
I'm a webcomic noob, so I'm learning a lot as I go, but it's definitely... I'm actually thinking doing the webcomic is pretty much my new passion. I enjoy doing it more than any 3D art.
Oh, Jesse, I like the. I mean, not Jesse. Sorry. Tracy, I like the art style.
Oh, it changes all over the place. I am
okay.
not... I have not tied down an art style yet. I even say in the comments, like, don't get tied to anything because I am changing this up every strip. Like, whatever I feel like drawing, I draw it.
Well, I tell you, the idea is like make it as many less panels and less text as possible.
Yeah, and I keep going the opposite way of that. I keep going more panels and more text.
Because that's what'll save you. Is you'll find yourself. Yeah, I had the same thing. I did a comic a while back and a few years ago, and it was great and it was fun. But what I found was I preferred the writing, and but the comic creation after a while when I started adding colors and shading and all that shit, I felt like that was if it was more of a requirement. Like I needed to do this instead of the writing became a lesser thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of working myself up to... I want to do like a full comic sometime, so I'm kind of working up to that and learning. But yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. Maybe one day I'll be on if you watch Strip Search at all, the Penny Arcade reality show.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, there's a Penny Arcade reality show for webcomics, and
cool.
it's pretty awesome. Where they give them I think 90 minutes to do a comic based on like a random theme.
Yeah,
and
it's
some
like
good
The
stuff.
Apprentice. It's like The Apprentice, but with comic strip artists.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but so I wouldn't mind being on that one day, but I don't really want to work at Penny Arcade. F those guys.
No,
Yeah, most of those jokes come from Reddit/gaming.
Yeah.
Anyway, besides Tracy, hey, Jesse, how's Dinosaur Games going? Tell us about Dinosaur Games and how can we support it?
We'll support it by liking us on Facebook, obviously. That's the easiest thing you can do. And just humor us as we update with silly, dinosaur comics and little things that we find and screenshots and all that. We have a big, for those of you in the Dallas area, we'll be showing at Project ACON this weekend. We have our booth there, and we just got our big melee guy in, so he's a lot of fun to go around. Just
Is that
beating stuff up
John?
with. Yeah, just
Yes,
John.
I saw your
Big.
Facebook post.
He's big, man. And it feels great. It feels great to gut punch people. So there's still a lot of tweaking to be done, but right now it's in a pretty good state. We will also be at Screw Attack Expo or Screw Attack Convention June 21st in Dallas as well. Right now, as far as Dinosaur is concerned, we're doing money talks with a publisher, just trying to get a portion of this game funded and just try and get the full budget through angel investors and whatnot, so we can get this game going. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at.
Nice. Hey, John Henderson, what kind of events are coming up in the next blah blah blah?
Well, the big news was that for the first time in 6 years, IGDA Austin is not putting on the summer picnic for various reasons that would take way too long to talk about. But I am punting with my 2 musical acts that would have been available on June the 8th. And I'm just going to do an outdoor block party at Mr. Tramp's, which is where we have beer nights. And it's anyone can come out on a Saturday night, buy the beer, give Alfredo the $25 he would have given to the chapter for the ticket price. That's fine. It'll be a smaller scale group, but it'll have Brental Floss, who's the What If Video Game Music Had Lyrics guy. It should be a fun show. But I've just been having fun coming up with and making contacts with speakers for the Captivate conference, which is October 6th through 8th at the Palmer Center in downtown Austin. It was just announced today that Warren Spector will be one of the keynote speakers. He's got time. He's got lots of projects. He's not running a studio right now, but he's helping build curriculum for UT and new video game academy that they're going to be doing at some point. But he's going to speak for it, and there's hopefully a number of other speakers that will say yes and commit. And it's just been fun to see all come together. So it is a for real thing. I hear people talk about it all the time. Is it going to be Captivate? It's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. We've totally got the Palmer Center for 3 days, overlapping the first Sunday of the 2-weekend Austin City Limits Festival in Zilker Park. So,
to be honest, I'd like to come down there for that. I like to be a part of it.
Okay, well, we'll be in touch.
I would love to give a talk on social media.
Well, there's actually a web page. I've actually linked it on your chat feed earlier. But if you go to the program page, the program link on CaptivateConference.com, there's a call for speakers, so you can totally pitch that.
I think I got a good pitch.
All right, that's about it.
All right, cool. So what's up with that Kickstarter, Lee?
Jagged Alliance has got kickstarted for full control, but you can still donate money on the website if that's a game that you would like to play. Other than that, I'm working on Space Hulk, which is going really good. I'm enjoying it.
It's like if the Incredible Hulk was an astronaut, right?
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
Yeah.
They did Planet Hulk.
Yeah, if you like XCOM, then you'll definitely like Space Hulk.
Nice. Well, if you've enjoyed this, go to crunchstudios.com. What is it, .net or .com? I don't even know. I run the site. Holy shit. Love it. Follow it on Twitter. Listen to me. I can't even make words anymore. I've been talking so much, I cannot make a word anymore. You go to Twitter. Twitter has CrunchCast. Twitter has Chris Holden Dev. Twitter has Gizmodo-san?
Sure.
Hey, follow all these motherfuckers on Twitter. Dinosaur Games, Jesse Sosa. John, you got a Twitter?
Yeah, Austin IGDA.
Nice. How about Tracy? Tracy has Coffee Outlaws.
I got 2, but that's the one I'm going to use now. So all you jerks that have me on the other one, switch over.
Hey, you stupid fucking cunts. Follow Coffee Outlaws. Why aren't you doing it? Obviously because there hasn't been any episodes lately.
I'm checking now, and I've got no more followers. So.
I always retweet your shit, and I believe in it. I believe in you.
I keep getting more followers under the other one. They keep joining like every day, and it's just
Twitter is so weird, man.
Oh, I just keep sending them dick pictures, hoping they'll leave.
Yeah, nice. You just gotta twice a week make a tweet that is like useful information, not some shit like I farted, like none of that shit.
I do fart a lot.
You don't tweet that. What you do is you tweet twice a week. You tweet like here's a fucking information tutorial, or here's something I'm working on. You do that kind of shit. or if you're an artist, and all you guys are, obviously.
That sounded pretty good though. Twice a week, make a tweet.
Yes, twice a week, make a tweet. And here's the next level shit. You ready for this? Twitter is 140 characters, right? Tweet with 70. Bam! You just learned some shit. You tweet with 70, then people can retweet you and message you within your tweet.
There you go.
Yeah, shit just got real.
Yeah, I always find that whenever I'm typing out a tweet and it shows a little counter with how many letters you have left, as it winds down, I start typing faster, trying to outrun it. It never works.
Never works. All right.
I always say twits. Like I have a twit, and I keep forgetting that it's tweet.
Twats.
Yeah.
We'll call it
Well,
twice.
all this is a bunch of bullshit, so I'm stopping this fucking podcast right now.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.